Alright, so I wanted to participate in Orktober this year, but didn't get a chance to finish them because of my work schedule. But yeah, I found a Ork Warboss on Cults. I'll leave a link in the description and also a link for a printed off piece if you don't have a printer. But I went ahead and put this into the slicing software, and about 11 hours later had all the pieces printed off and ready to go. Probably could have put all of them on the build plate, but I'm still learning how to use this thing and just learning a little bit more every time I print something. Okay, so 4 pieces here: the main body, the legs, the right arm, and then the left arm, which is a power claw. All printed out very well. There are some artifacts that I missed though. You'll be able to see those throughout the video. Different little nubs where the supports kind of stuck to the piece that I should have been able to see those and clean them off, but I missed them, and I'll be a little bit more careful next time I print off a figure that I'm going to paint up. But all in all, I was pleased with how everything came out. Still relatively new to 3D printing. Like I said before, I don't want this channel to become a 3D printing channel, but it's a different kind of model. I'll do styrene models, I'll do resin models, and I'll do 3D printed models too. So, but these resin kits, they basically just you have to use super glue or CA glue. I didn't have any major issues with any kind of gaps. I think one gap that I had, I just put a little bit of clear resin into the gap and cured it with one of the UV flashlights I have. Now I actually leave the left arm off. I fill in the hole with some blue tack just because I want to be able to paint it separately. Okay, starting off with some black Stynylrez through the airbrush. Yeah, this is one of my go-to primers that I like to use. You can actually see some of that blue tack in between the arm and the body there. But yeah, just went in and gave him a good overall coat. Okay, so with him, I did not drill a hole into his foot and put a wire in there to hold onto it, or put him onto a painting handle or anything. I just didn't have time. Honestly, work's been crazy lately with just being so short-staffed, just like the rest of the country. I just tried to get him done a little bit at a time as I could, with either 20 minutes a day or a half hour whenever I could. But it all comes out well in the end. Now, so the white ink, you saw a little bit of red there. I tried to do like an undershade to kind of like bring out some colors in the shadows. It didn't work. Also, the Zenithal prime that I did, I usually don't have a whole lot of luck with Zenithal primes, but the one thing about this model, he's going to be yellow, and I am not about to paint yellow over black. So there he is. You can see a little bit of the red showing through. Honestly, that gets covered up, so I'm not too worried about it, because I do like how he came out at the end of the video here. All right, so I printed off a Warhound Titan proxy head, like kind of buried into my build plate to make it look like it's sunk into the ground. I'm gonna have him standing on that, so it should be pretty cool. Now, there are hundreds of different ways that you can paint orc flesh. You can see, there are so many videos online, bright ones, dark ones, just different shades. It's just unreal how many ways you can paint orc flesh. I'm just going with Death Guard green here, and I've got a little bit on my wet palette here with some Flow Aid, and right there you can see, yep, he's definitely going to need more than one coat. But I've got the base started there. I like this way that I do the orc flesh, because it gives it more that grittier, dirtier look. I mean, I'm not going for full grim dark here, but a little bit more dark than grim. Okay, and there's not a whole lot of flesh. I mean, it's got, since he's missing one arm, he's got that claw arm, just the main body, one arm, and his head. And that's after 2 coats, and you can still see a little bit underneath it. So, but I'm going to come in with some shading here pretty soon here. And for the shade, I use Colia Green shade from Citadel. So I get under the into the recesses there, and if I get a little too much, it starts to pool, I'll just wick off the brush on a paper towel, get it a little drier, and then I'll just soak it up right back into the bristles. And I think I gave him 2 coats of shading in different areas, just to give a little bit more definition and depth to his muscles there. All right, starting with the Flash Gets Yellow from Citadel. It's one of their layer paints, and it's bright. It's not going to stay this bright because I'm going to put some shading on it. I'm going to use some washes. I'm going to use some contrast paint. If you know me, you know I like stuff to look like it's worn. So yeah, if it looks like it's supposed to be in a war, in a battle, in the 41st millennium, yeah, it's going to look dirtied up. For the metal bits, though, I start off with Mechanica Standard Gray, if I can even say it right. It gives a good base color for the metallics to stick to. And I'm just going to go around just on the backpack and the pipes and all that fun stuff there that's attached to his back. And then a little bit of flesh tone, that's going to be for the inside of his mouth and his lower lip. I've noticed recently a lot of painters are starting to give the orcs that little bit of a fleshy tone on their lower lip. There's those artifacts, if you can see, it's right underneath my paintbrush there. I have no idea how I missed them, but like I said, I'm still new to 3D printing and all this, and especially with 3D printing figures for gaming. Yeah, I am not an orc player, so I don't have any orc stuff to pull out of the stash, so that's why I went ahead and found a file that I can print off. I'm for 40K when it's concerned Space Wolves and yeah, my Death Guard army I'm doing with my son here. So, so right here, got a little excited there. This is where I'm going to start adding a little bit more depth to that yellow armor. It didn't show it there because I think I cut that off of the video, but that's one of the contrast paints. It's Gryph-hound Orange. So you can see there it's got a little bit more shading to that armor. It's not real stark yellow, which I know some painters, they leave that stark yellow on there, but I just want it a little bit dirtier. So the head of the Titan here, the buried head of the Titan, got him primed up. Got a little base coat on there, some flat white, and I'm just going to do like a light blue through the airbrush, and then I'll just go ahead and get the metallics painted up afterwards. There we go. I really like the way that turned out with that color. So now I'm going to get all the trim painted up, and then well, we'll take it from there. Now for the sash on our Warboss here, I just went ahead and looked at the color wheel and went with the contrasting color for yellow, which is purple. So I'm starting off with this Vallejo Blue Violet, and after 2 coats of that, I'll get a shade on there, and then I'll go back and get some highlights knocked out. But I didn't want to just paint them like green or brown or something. I just I looked at the color wheel and I saw that yeah, it's the contrasting color is purple, so just went ahead with that. And there's the Druchii Violet from Citadel, one of their shades. It's Actually, one of my favorite shades apart from Colia Green shade. And yep, he's coming along here. I didn't film every little bit of painting on him, but there's a little bit more purple there on his brace there. Now I'm doing some weathering, and this is just sponging on some lead belcher. I'll do lead belcher, and then I'll go through with I think it's XV88 or Scrag Brown, one of the two. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I just want to get them nicked up and scratched and beaten up. I just like to see my figures look like they've been in an actual war for a very long time. So after the lead belcher, I'm going to go through with some Scrag Brown and add a little bit of brown sponging to it as well. But for now, this is the lead belcher. Okay, and then after that, I've got a little special effect that I've got here. I'm going to be using iron paint, oxidizing iron paint. It's little iron particles trapped in a medium. Mixing in some white vinegar here. This is a little trick I saw on Aztec Dummy. Lou over there, he did the Nautilus with this whole technique with using this iron oxide. Basically, you just add a little bit of vinegar to it. It smells horrible, and then you just slather it on the areas that you want to actually create rust. It's one thing to paint a rust effect. It's another thing to actually create a rust effect with rust. Just do it the old-fashioned way like that. I didn't really rust up a whole lot on the figure itself. I did more on the Titan head, which you'll see here coming up. But I wanted to get a little bit of stuff on there. Yeah, that's that's what you call slathering right there. And you'll see here I've got two different little time jumps here coming up. See what it looks like as it starts drying. That's partially dry right there. You can still see a few areas that are still a little wet and they're still drying on their own, but you can see it's starting to orange up, and that's real rust there, kids. So don't be sucking on these miniatures unless you want to get lockjaw. But yep, looking pretty good there. And then time lapse, you can see it's even got more orange there. Just using a nylon brush here just to knock off some of that. And then later on, yep, there's what it looks like there. Later on, after I use the brush, I'm actually going to take a little bit of water on a paper towel and clean it up even more, just because I want to see more of the paint come through, and I just don't want it to looking like a old Volkswagen Beetle that's been sitting in somebody's backyard for 30 years. But yep, just knocking off a little bit there. Figure they're orcs, they piece stuff together, so it's probably going to look a little rusty. But the effect is there after you get done cleaning it off. It's actually a really cool effect. And like I said, I can't claim credit for that one. That was Lou over at Aztec Dummy. And there's just cleaning up with a little bit of water on a paper towel. So I'm just keeping the rust in the deepest parts there, because I'm still going to add some ground effects onto this. I'm going to have it so it's kind of buried in the ground. But while I'm doing this, hey, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because yeah, this is video 24, and at the time of publishing it, I'm up to 92 subscribers, so yeah, I'm getting there, slow but sure. But I'm having so much fun with this channel, and there's so much more yet to come. I got models, miniatures, dioramas, terrain, all that fun stuff. But yeah, getting back to this, the head's done for the most part. I'm just going to add some terrain effects onto it. I decided to do a little bit of an oil wash to our orc buddy here. Mixed up some brown and black, and actually it's black and red, just to get into those crevices there. Yeah, this takes a long time to dry, these oil paints. So just get in there with the mineral spirits or white spirits, depending on where you're from. Just dampen a cotton swab. I don't get paid by the big company that puts the Q in the name, so it's a cotton swab. And then you just pull it off. I mean, the deepest recesses are going to keep that shade. It's going to look really nice. Now for the armor, this is some brown and a little bit of black, not much. It's just standard oil paints. And then, yeah, just, like I said, I'm just going to put it all over the yellow. I'm trying to avoid that claw since I put that nice rust effect on there. Just get in between there. And then just like the body, I'll just let it dry and hit it with the white spirits, and that oil paint will stay in the recesses, and some quick and easy shading. Just using standard cork, drew out a little design on how I want it to look. For the most part it stayed the same, took a little bit off of it though. Held it on with some super glue, and then putting some super glue on the back of it so I can add it to some sheet styrene. So that's there. And then Vallejo thick mud. Yep. Just gonna get that all over. And this stuff took probably about a day and a half to dry. And using the handy dandy Tamiya hand drill, I put 2 separate holes in the Titan head because I didn't know which one I was going to have him standing in. Which I actually switch it around, because if I have him like that, one foot is off the ground. So there he is, changed over. Doing a little bit of weathering on the base. Getting those colors in real quick. I think that last one was Karak Stone from Citadel. Some Steel Legion Drab. And then I decided I want to do some pigments on the lower part of his legs and feet. So I just took some artist pastels, ground them up, and just brushed them on. 'Cause I'm sure he's got some dirty feet. And then you just take some alcohol in a spray bottle and spritz it on there. And there's my phone. And yeah, it holds it in place. Got a little bit on his tabard there too. So it's looking pretty good. Now I just added some ground effects for the base here. That's some ground up cork, some aquarium pebbles, and these are tufts that I bought off of Wish. Yep, you get junk on Wish, you know that. So I tried to get some tufts. For the tufts though, I've been seeing a lot of videos where people say, you know what, you have to paint your tufts, you got to get some paint in there. So I didn't paint it, but I put some Athonian Camo Shade right in the middle, so you can see a little bit of growth there. And you know what those are. We're gonna get those on the base too. And for the most part, get those in there. And we are getting towards the end of this. So, yep, it's like I said, if you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Give me a like on this one. Okay, so before the final reveal, I'd like to dedicate this video to my boss who passed away. He was a huge supporter of the channel. He gave me a lot of encouragement, and he always said, yeah, one day you'll have 1 million subscribers. So, miss you, boss. Thank you very much.